Welcome back to another episode of Take Care Tuesdays, where every Tuesday we deep dive into conversations about how we nurture ourselves. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for showing up today. My name is Denny, and I like to think of myself as a self-care enthusiast. And every week I show up here to share lessons that I've learned or lessons that I'm still learning about self-care in hopes that it will also inspire you to take better care of yourself. You can find all of the previous episodes to this series on my IGTV section or on the guide. And if you like this episode or any of the other episodes that you see, you can always support by liking and commenting, but especially by sharing with a friend and also saving for future references. Now let's get on to this week's episode. So all of this month we've been talking a lot about my self-care favorites and products and practices. Usually on this series we talk about deeper topics like motherhood or grief or feelings and all of those things, but I think that it's also important that we save room for light. And so that's what I've been trying to do this whole month, with kind of lightening some of the topics and talking about things that we all can indulge in. And today we're going to end it with talking about some of my favorite creative things to do as an act of self-care. I think we can all probably remember at least one old lady in our life that used to knit. And if you don't know anybody personally, I'm pretty sure you can think of a character that you saw on TV that was knitting away. Now, I don't know their business or whatever, but I think that those women that you saw knitting were doing so not just because they wanted to make you multicolored scarves and hats to match for Christmas, but also because it was an act of self-care. Self-care can show up for us in many forms. As a creative person myself, I love to find time where I can indulge in activities that aren't specifically in my particular skill set, such as writing and video, and do things that require a different type of brain power or skill set. It's like taking a break, but also being mindful and still using your hands at the same time. A lot of times these little activities can bring things such as clarity and calm that you can't necessarily get from resting and meditating. It gives you space to express yourself in a different way. You'd be surprised at how much clearer your mind can be when you decide to choose creation over consumption. Self-care is not just about bath bombs and shadow work and yoga. It's also about feeding the soul and finding ease. It can also be a great way of cultivating joyful challenges in your life as well. Creativity as self-care can really open your mind up in a way that can allow you to find solutions that you would have never thought about. It also can remind you to just be sometimes. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite things to do for creative self-care. I love adult coloring books. It's a great way to decompress and to also become more focused on the present. And anyone can do it, and you can do it almost anywhere. My favorite thing to do is to lay my coloring books out on the floor along with all of my colored pencils, play one of my playlists. Whether it's gloomy or sunny outside, it's always a vibe. Another great idea for creative self-care is to cook a new recipe. I absolutely love making a new recipe as a way to show myself and my family a little extra love. Even if it's the same dish that you always make, you can always add new seasonings or make it a different way just to make it interesting. Add a playlist to this and it's good vibes all over that food, okay? The last idea that I'll share is making waist beads. I started to make waist beads a little after my grandmother transitioned as a way to just kind of find calm and clarity and to do something instead of just sitting around and grieving. I also wanted to make the waist beads because I knew what the origin of the waist beads were and how they can be used to help promote and assist you in your weight loss goals and your health and fitness journey. So basically, I just decided to research how they're made, the origin, what the different colors meant, and I got the materials and I started to make some for myself and for my friends. I even found crystals that aligned with the different symbolizations of the colors that I wanted to use as well. So this one is actually my favorite. The black represents power and protection, while the neutral colors in it also represent grounding and earth and stability, and the tiger's eye represents protection and clarity. Another one of my favorites is this gold and pink rose quartz one. The gold represents good health, power, and wealth, while the pink quartz represents feminine energy, love, and compassion. So that's it for this week's episode, and also for Take Care Tuesdays, but just for a little bit. I promise I'm coming back. I'm just taking a little hiatus so that I can grow the series a whole lot more. I still can be found all over the internet, dealing good vibes and self-care talks. I want to extend all of my gratitude to anyone and everyone that has watched this series, for all the episodes, whether you just watched one, a couple, or all of them. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for sharing, for liking, all of the personal messages that I've received. I'm just so very grateful for it all. It can be very daunting and nerve-wracking to share any of your creative ideas on the internet. So it really does mean the world to me to receive so much love and just support behind the series. So just give me a little minute and we'll be back even better. You feel me? Until next time, take care.